Yes, so thanks for joining in again, once again, for the second session on AI. Just to give a brief backdrop on what this is all about, is I thought at some point in time I better um, create a group amongst us and amongst anybody who could be interested um, in AI specifically to join in and contribute and learn from each other. Hi, Dheeraj. Welcome in. And I just wished Happy Diwali to everyone. So that includes to you too. Um, as I was saying, the AI led community is one where I hope to make everyone, as much as possible, aware of the possibilities and potential in AI. And that's where I thought I needed to create something. And one thing that I remembered is, which I really follow on, is if you teach once, it's like learning twice. So I thought we can teach each other AI on our learnings, and we can help each other grow up the learning curve. Because a lot of times we end up learning in probably not the best way, doing circles and exploring, which is good. But in our current time crunched scenarios, it may probably dissuade or discourage people from doing and diving in to get the complete grasp of any subject. So if we share each other's learnings on AI, then our learning can be so much more faster and quicker and better. So that's where this whole idea came up, and that's where I also thought I'll learn, or rather, I'll call this group as Learning Twice. And I should thank you all for being cognizant of that and attending these sessions. And with the hope that I will be making good use of your Saturday evening, I will get started for today. Let me just share my screen. Hi, Jyoti. So, the best way. Hello. Um, so yes, please do call out anything if there is any point that you would like to voice out, and that is also going to help us help each other on the recording as well for people who may want to listen to this in the future. That will also give them some context of the questions that are being asked rather than just reading it out from the comments. So with that said, and the learning twice branding done, I want to talk very quickly on what we are doing today before diving into it. So today, as always, I want to keep the session hands-on, in the sense we will be today building an AI algorithm that has the potential to read text. Now, this is just one use case, but what I'm going to talk in general will be the way which we can apply Gen AI technology and the concept of Gen AI towards building any kind of AI model. What we are currently doing in this particular session is applying that knowledge to specifically build for a text reading algorithm, but that doesn't mean that it just can be applied to that and not anything else. You can apply it to any use case where you see a possibility of AI application. And I will show you on how that can be done with this particular context or use case in specific. Otherwise, it may not really be, what do you say, as intuitive. So I'm using that, given that I have also had a long career in e-commerce and retail and marketing. This was one topic that came to me on the top of my head when I was exploring on the possibilities of using AI across different industries. And given this industry being close to me, I thought I'll just target it on this particular retail and retail use case. So with that said, I want to also start this session with a very broad and very bold disclaimer. Even though we will be coding today, I do not assume anybody to have any knowledge of coding, nor do I want anybody to get intimidated by the codes that we will be seeing today. The code can sometimes be quite scary. Um, and it was to me as well in the initial days, but it is not. It's scary only if you look at it once and if you see it from far. But the minute you start to get into it, and with the possibilities of Gen AI helping us out, it is actually so much cooler to work on it, and it will always give you that confidence of tackling anything that you don't really know. It's a much more a confident manner. So that's how I want to say. And this session will not make you an expert in Python. We will be using Python, by the way, today. It will not be a substitute for building your codes. It is only going to augment and help you in building Python codes. But you don't need to know a scratch about Python code. You don't need to know anything about the syntax, nothing. All you need to have with you is your common sense and good knowledge of your business application. That is all that is needed. The business application can be anything, as I said. In this particular session, we'll be talking about retail, but that can be for anything under the sun where an AI can perform. You need to have a good domain specific knowledge of that specific domain. That is the only thing that is prerequisite for this. Everything else we can take care of by using GenAI. So before you implement these codes or all the codes that you get across, it is going to be extremely prudent that you check through all the code that is generated to make sure that there is nothing anonymous or that is going to compromise your organization safety or your corporate ethics. That is something that we completely have to be sure of before we implement any code. Please do not go uploading or modifying the code in your company if at all you get a chance based on just pure GenAI generated code. That is the same thing to do. With that said, I will proceed into the overall, or rather, the next part of the training, which is the actual session in itself. But before we begin, I want to let me maximize the screen. Okay. So before we dive in, I wanted to ask a question relating to a Jamun and a job, as the title says, right? What we all know what a Jamun is, and we all know what a job is. But I want to ask you, what are the similarities that you can say, or rather that you can see between a Jamun and a job, apart from the fact that both are sweet and they're extremely dangerous when taken in a large amount. Apart from these two, what do you think are the similarities between a jamun and a job?
In the context of the text, as you mentioned, right?
No,
Is
no,
it
no. It is
something?
not related to text. It can be related to anything. I'm just using that context of a text at a later point. At this moment, we are not looking at the text reading capability. It's just generic, away from everything. What would be the common features between a jamun and a job? Think outside the box.
They sound similar.
Okay. They both start with J.
Both are addictive.
Yeah, they are addictive. Yes. That's why they are dangerous when taken in without constraint.
Both will be inspiring at a point.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how jamun can be inspiring, but yes.
And all foodies here, look at me. Foodies.
So
I'm
job
sure
can,
at least all of us love jamuns here, right?
yes, a job can
Jamun,
get you jamuns, but jamun can give you a job, jamun job, maybe selling jamun or something.
Could be, yeah. If we are Haldirams, then definitely yes.
Right.
so Jamun is a combination of so many things. The way job involves a lot of kind of your knowledge of different areas, your expertise, experience, interaction.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
This thing with the Jamun is basically inside the gravy of this juicer sauce.
Hmm.
So basically, it needs sort of mix up and a lot of expertise, the way jobs need. maybe some kind of a relationship like that.
Perfect. I think, Munesh, you got the answer. You have the thought process in that direction. And I would want to elaborate on that more. Is both jamun and job have ingredients. A jamun can be broken down into ingredients, and a job can be broken down if I break down the job, that is, right? If I break down a job, you will have a task. So jamun has ingredients which goes in together to make an overall dish, right? It could be butter, milk, sugar, whatever. And a job can similarly have multiple ingredients, which we call as tasks. This could be, if I'm in again going back to the retail example, if I am a shop owner, right, who's trying to sell stuff, I will have a lot of tasks related to selling that job products in my shop. What is my job? My job is a shopkeeper's job. I am a shopkeeper. My job is to sell the products in my store. And in order to accomplish that job, I will need to perform a lot of tasks, which could be sourcing the products, pricing the products, putting them on shelves, a lot of things. These make up, in all put together, the overall job of me being a shopkeeper. Hope that made sense.
Yeah.
Do
Yes.
we all agree on that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So if we understand the difference between a task and a job and how they're related, there is one more thing that is equally congruential in that manner, is that tasks have objectives and jobs have goals. In the same relationship, multiple tasks make a job. Similarly, multiple objectives make a goal. So that's how it is. An objective, say, for example, we all have a job. In the job, we would also be, aware of our performance appraisal and, the way we get evaluated at the end of every term, no matter how hard we disagree, but or hate that. End of the day, that's what happens. All those things that we get measured on are more often than not called objectives. These are your objectives that you need to accomplish by the end of this particular period to get whatever rating that you want, right? That's what an objective is. And all these put together will form a goal, right? Are you all with me on this particular point?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So objectives are smaller and goals are bigger. So if I want to call that out in a listing or textual basis, a goal is something that answers your question, what is it that you want to do? If I'm a shopkeeper, what is it that I want to do? It is sell my products. And an objective, on the other hand, answers the question, how do you want to sell your products? So for that, I will say, I need to buy this, I need to buy that, I need to do that promotion, I need to market here, I need to put my shop there, whatever. So that is the key difference in goal and an objective. And it's in the way in which you answer the question. What you want to do will be your goal, and how you want to do will be your objective. Also, this means goals can or may or may not be directly measurable, meaning they may or may not be smart. I'm sure we've all heard of a SMART goal, right? If I just say my goal is to sell, that is also an equally valid goal. It is not smart. It is always good to have a smart goal, but it is not needed to have a smart goal, which is specific, measurable, actionable, and time bound and realistic, right? So it's not compulsory that a goal is smart. It is good to have a SMART goal, but not really important. On the other hand, an objective always needs to be SMART. It needs to be measurable and it includes specific metrics, deadlines, milestones. This is what a SMART, the objectives have to be SMART, right? So objectives are very specific and they answer the question how. Goals can be vague and they answer the question what, right? So that is the relationship between a task and an objective and a job and a goal. So in the same gulab jamun example, if I go back to it, my job would be to make a gulab jamun or 20 gulab jamuns or 40 gulab jamuns. And the task would be for making 40 gulab jamuns, I need to weigh 1 kg of sugar. I don't know, I'm just taking rough numbers. Please don't go by 1 kg sugar. Say half a liter of milk, 2 liters of water, so on and so forth. Those will be the tasks and the objectives for that, right? So that is where these 4 key definitions fit into the overall common parlance. And say, for example, if I want to help the shopkeeper who is trying to sell ingredients that will help me make jamun, in this case, a storekeeper, an FMCG example, my goal as a storekeeper would be to successfully run the operations of my supermarket to fulfill all the customer orders. All the customers who come into my shop to make gulab jamuns need to get what they need, and they need to be priced right, and they also need to be served right so that they are happy and they will come back. So I'm sure any shopkeeper will have this goal, right? And if you replace the shopkeeper FMCG example with your domain specific metrics, it will also be equally applicable. Say, for example, I am a train operator. In that case, it could be to successfully run the operations of a train. Fulfilling all the customer orders here would become fulfilling the time limitations or the timetable with stopping at the right stations at the right time and keeping the customers happy so that they return by taking them to their intended destinations and not anywhere else. You can see how this statement can mold to any example or any industry. And that is what I want us to take into account from this session today, wherein you should be able to dissect and your job into the right tasks and associate the right goals and objectives towards any job for that matter, right? If I want to again go back to that supermarket and help that supermarket fellow who's trying to sell ingredients for making the gulab jamun, I would say the job of a shopkeeper involves, say, in a very simple term, this is by no means a comprehensive list, but just to help you get the idea, the job of this particular shopkeeper could be in stock and inventory management, pricing, and customer relationships, right? And the goal for that would be fulfilling all the stock and inventory management person's job would be to fulfill all the right orders with the right products. And the
Sorry,
job of
why you say price marking is not AI friendly?
I will get to that. I will get to that.
Okay.
I will come. I'm moving from outside to the inside. I will just come to that.
Okay.
Okay. So moving into the pricing side, if I want to price all my products right, and that is the job of a pricing person. And similarly, the job of a customer relations person would be to keep the customers happy, who will return back to the store to buy more and make more and more jamuns. So that's how the job and goals are aligned for the supermarket example. Now, moving on to the tasks, each job, as I said, can have multiple tasks. And I'm just taking, again, as I said, very top rung examples without diving too deep in, just to give you an idea. you may need to dig deeper into your specific domains in case you have ideas of implementing across your organization and be more comprehensive. So, for example, shelf monitoring. It would be about products that are being loaded onto the shelf. So the task of shelf monitoring would have the objective of monitoring stocks on shelves to ensure the right products are on the right shelf and they are not out of stock, right? So this could be done by an AI camera that is placed opposite to the aisle, and that could overlook the products that are placed onto my shelf. And the minute the products get run out, it sends a notification in real time to the shopkeeper saying, hey, you know what? The sugar on the rack is over, please replenish. And that is the reason why I said that is an AI friendly task. On the other hand, the process of stocking the shelf in itself, assuming there are no robots yet who can bring the products and place it onto the shelf. Say, for example, it involves a manual person who comes and loads the products on the shelf with sugar. That is the stocking that I'm talking about here. That is not AI friendly because it needs a human to ultimately load the products with the shelf, load the shelf with the products. That is not a AI friendly one. And Munish, to come to your question about pricing, to determine the right price is one thing for the right product. So this could be ensuring that the products are priced right, they're dynamically priced, they take into account the demand and product price them in the right way. They're not priced at a negative markup so that they don't end up being sold at a loss. These are all the aspects that can be monitored by AI, and that is an AI friendly pricing task. On the other hand, price marking. Say, for example, I need to stick barcodes onto the packets that I am selling to enable billing. That sticking the barcodes would probably need a man to peel the sticker out and put it onto the packet. Or that could also probably involve labeling the shelves. Say, for example, I have kept my sugar on the top shelf and I realized that it would be better off at the middle shelf to keep sugar. So I need to change the labeling for the sugar. So I need to move that around. So all these things that needs manual intervention are not AI friendly. And that's the reason why I marked that bit of price marking as a no. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Price marketing, like now these days is like digital.
Mm.
Basically, all the shelves have the digital
Yes,
pricing.
yes. If that is there, then yes, that is also AI friendly. But I'm
Right.
again trying to relate it to a specific aspect. And again, this is not by in any way a comprehensive way on how a supermarket works. I just
Yeah, right.
wanted to give an example to show how a job can have AI friendly and non-AI friendly tasks. Just
Mhm.
because I have a couple of tasks in my job which are AI friendly doesn't make my job completely AI friendly and will make me go out of job thanks to AI tomorrow. That's what I wanted to showcase here. Any
Yeah.
job will always have tasks that are completely AI friendly, and it also has jobs that are not AI friendly. Say, for example, if I'm in the marketing or if I'm on the sales side, I may probably need to have a customer face-to-face interaction that needs a person. There, it may not be AI friendly, but I can direct my marketing campaigns using AI. That is AI friendly. So it happens in that format. So just because by saying I am in AI and I lost my job to AI may not really be applicable in a lot of scenarios unless you are in a job that has a majority of tasks that are dominated by AI friendly tasks. We are not getting into that discussion here, but I just wanted to give you an example of how you will have every job made up of multiple tasks, which includes both AI friendly and non-friendly tasks. Hope that is clear on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So again, coming back to customer relationships, here in this case, I could have a CSAT measuring score based on online surveys. That could be an AI-friendly task. On the other hand, I could also have people waiting with a survey questionnaire at the outside of the shop. asking the customers if they were happy or not, which needs physical people's presence. So that way it could be both online AI friendly and non-AI friendly. If you've gone into, say, a Decathlon store, at the end of the checkout, he will ask you to rate how your experience was. Even though that is also a feedback collection, that is AI friendly. But if I go to any other, I don't know, in a mall or something, you will sometimes have people walk up to you and take your survey on the feedbacks. That is non-AI friendly. So again, it could even have multiple facets in the way you collect the data from the customers that could determine if it's an AI friendly or non-friendly. And again, analyzing the customer feedback data is definitely AI friendly. So you could have that done by AI. So as you can see now, the job can be broken down into multiple tasks, and each of these tasks in turn can either be AI friendly or non-AI friendly. So your job as a leader who wants to implement AI into your organization or into your business, wherever you want to try implementing AI, one of the first things you will start by doing is to dissect your job, break it down into the tasks, and identify those tasks that are AI friendly. How would you identify if a task is AI friendly or not? I'm guessing most of us should have that intuition. If it is digitally enabled task, then it should most often be an AI friendly task. On the other hand, if it requires manual labor and manual effort, then yes, it is not an AI friendly task. Again, it is not a hard found rule, but if you stick to that paradigm, then most likely it is going to help you on to that. So the first thing that you would do in these cases is to break down and dissect your job into tasks and identify the AI friendly tasks in that. And for those AI friendly tasks, you need to make sure you have the objectives aligned properly. Now, these objectives will be the ones that will drive you into implementing your AI solution, right? Say, for example, if I'm just going on to the first example of shelf monitoring task, right? The objective for the shelf monitoring task would be to ensure that the right products are on the right shelves. Yeah, I should not keep sugar in the place of, say, salt. If I do that, then it is a task not done right. On the other hand, adding on to that, it should be having 0% out of stock, meaning the minute the shelf gets empty, I need to have a real life notification sent out to the shopkeeper or the inventory uh, person managing the inventory saying this particular shelf is out of stock, right? And that is where I need to build, or that is how I need to build my AI system for shelf monitoring. So what will this shelf monitoring AI do for me? It will ensure the right products are on the right shelf and they are not out of stock. Again, there are a lot of use cases and goal objectives for shelf monitoring. Let's not dig deep into them. But just take this as a fair enough indication of what a self monitoring task is. And we can use that as a guide to build our AI. Similarly, if I look at the pricing related AI friendly task, the objective for that would be to determine the right price for the right product. Say, for example, I accidentally put the sugar instead of salt. Sorry, I put this sugar in the salt um, rack. So then I would automatically get a notification saying, hey, you know what? Sugar is placed in salt. That is one thing. And if I accidentally priced that sugar as a salt instead of sugar, then I'm playing around with the pricing as well, which could incur a loss for me. So I need to have that AI systems trigger out an alert saying, do not price this. Of course, we have barcodes which will negate that, but whatever it is, I'm just asking you to, consider the goal of pricing it right just by ensuring we stick the right stickers onto it, right? So these are things that we need to ensure that guides us in our AI building algorithm, right? Is everybody with me on to this up till now?
Yep.
Cool. So if I'm using these as my guidelines, you can see for the pricing and the stock related, where it is all about monitoring the products that are kept on the shelf, we can leverage what we will be doing today as the text reading or the OCR, optical character recognition algorithm that will help us in shelf monitoring and pricing. So this is where the OCR algorithm will come into picture today, that will help us in monitoring the shelf and also to an extent in helping us in pricing. So what we will do is build the heart of this AI algorithm that can monitor, or rather that can detect and read the text that is printed on the product packages. So the ideal way in which this will work is if I keep that sugar on the rack, the AI camera that is placed opposite to the aisle will read the text that is printed on the package, and it will say, okay, this is sugar and that is kept in the sugar rack. That is fine. The minute I keep a salt there, it will read the salt on it and it will say, hey, this is an error, this is a mistake. A salt is kept in a sugars rack. Please move that away. So that's how the optical character recognition OCR algorithm will help us today. Right? Again, you will have a lot of algorithms to build, and a lot of these algorithms in turn need to be clubbed together to enable the complete AI automation for your supermarket. But we are not going into all that detail. What I will give you is the basic foundation onto which you can build all these individual algorithms, eventually piecing them all together to build a comprehensive AI supermarket algorithm if you want to, or even for your own business. You can use the technique that we will discuss today. All right. So are we all okay up till now? So
Yeah.
let's go in and cook some code, as I would like to call it. I will paste this link onto the Zoom chat. This is a link for Google Colab. I'm not sure how many of us have experienced or are aware of Google Colab. It is an open, free to use Python editor in our case, or Python code runner, that can also help us building AI related algorithms and test them out. It will help us build a fast prototype and see how it works. This is where we get into the Google, or rather the AI coding side of things. If you haven't logged into Colab before, you may probably need to sign in using your Gmail. Please use your Gmail as well, so that you will get access to the Colab environment. And I will also paste the drive, Google Drive link that I'm using to enable us build. Now, this is the Google Drive link. Let me know when you have opened your Colabs. In the meantime, I will give you the code, the link for the Google Drive.
Yeah, I got my Colab opened. Yeah.
Okay, super. I'm just pasting. Now that's the link for the OCR exercise files. You should see two folders, input 1 and input 2. Keep them open and we will dive into it. Let me know when you have, all of you have the Colab opened.
Yeah, we have opened it.
Okay. Does everyone have the Colabs open? Does it look like what you see on my screen? It may be expanded. If it is expanded, you just have to, oops, sorry. If it is expanded, you just have to collapse it by clicking on this arrow. But do you see testing Tesseract OCR on the top?
Yeah.
You see all these, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just so I get a sense check, anybody has used Colab before?
No.
No,
Okay, looks like no one has. Okay, fair enough. So this is the coding environment for Colab, and I will also open my ChatGPT. I intended to originally share the ChatGPT, but then I realized you can't really share it if you have some media in the chat session. So otherwise, I would have shared this entire chat transcript with you, but it doesn't really hurt us in any way, right? So now this is where I will start with building my all this code for before I begin. All this code that you see in this Colab was not coded by me. It was all generated by GenAI, right? And that is the cool bit about it, where anybody who has the knowledge on what they need to do, if you have clarity on what you want to do, then nothing is impossible these days. You can very easily build right from a simple algorithm to a most complicated algorithm as long as you take the necessary precautions, right? So, before we dive into what we are doing, let me just quickly walk you through into the Colab page itself. So this is the Colab page. As I said, this is probably how you are seeing it with the code in. If that is the case, then you don't need to do anything else apart from hit this down arrow to collapse a code. But that's not important. One of the first things that you need to do is connect it with a processor. You see the runtime menu. If you click on the runtime and navigate to change run type, right? If you click on that, you should be seeing this particular window. Okay, all the options that are available to us as free users are active, and the options that we are not having as free users is grayed out. And the runtime type is Python 3. Please ensure that it is selected to Python 3. In case it is not, please change it. You have these two, Python 3 and R. We will not worry about R for now. It's supposed to be Python 3. Okay. And you have three kinds of hardware accelerators. CPU, which is a normal slow CPU. T4 GPU. GPU is this is slightly faster than the CPU. And TPU V2.8 is the fastest GPU. It is super fast, and it is highly capable of running the codes of neural networks and other parallel, high intense codes, which we are not doing for today. For our specific use case, we can just choose T4 GPU. This is the mid of these three. And another thing is also, because this is a pre environment that we are working on, these will run out. CPU can run without any time limits, but T4 GPU and TPU V2.8 have time limits or token limits based on the amount of processing time you run. After the limit is over, you will be switched to a default CPU, which will still do the job, but it will be slower. So that is the only thing that you need to be aware of. And when you run out of time, you will get a pop-up similar to this saying you have run out of your time, GPU time. Please change it over to CPU. In which case you need to change over to CPU by selecting CPU and hitting save. In our case, we will choose for this particular scenario a T4 GPU because this is fairly easy code, doesn't really require a lot. And that will also give us a lot of compute time to enable us run this whole simulation throughout. In case if anybody runs out of your CPU compute time, please let me know, then we can switch to CPUs. Okay. So if we choose the T4 GPU and then hit save, and then I had initially connected, but
Can
I
you please
got
mute?
the. Uh-huh.
Sorry. We can mute. I think a lot of disturbance coming.
Yeah. Here somebody's mic not being muted.
Thanks, Ari.
Okay, super. So this is the connect thing. When you say save, it should automatically connect to you. But in my case, I had kept this open and it got disconnected. So I'm just hitting reconnecting. But you should see this connecting on the status. Do you see that?
Yeah, mine is connected.
Okay, super. You will have that indicated by 3 green dots and a tick now. Now we are connected to T4. Right? Are we all on it?
Yes,
Yeah.
able to connect.
Okay, cool. Another important thing in Google Colab, because this is a free tool, if we close the laptop or if we close the browser, whatever model you had built, trained will be lost and you will need to rerun it from the beginning again the next time you want to execute it. The model will be safe in that the code will be saved, but the model itself and its learnings will be forgotten, right? So if you are looking at retaining the learnings and keeping the model alive, then you need to go in for a premium paid version of Colab. But in our case, we are not needed to do that because it is just a one-time exercise. But say, for example, you want to implement any AI solution onto your business, onto your process, which needs to have persistence memory, then you need to buy a full paid version. In the free version, it forgets every time you close the browser or log out of the session. And also, the even if you have this open, it will run for a maximum of 20 hours. If, say, for example, I'm running this code on CPU, which doesn't really have a time limit, it can only run up till 20 hours or something. I'm not really sure about the exact time. It will be there in the help segment, but it will time out after 20 odd hours. So you cannot have really heavy loads running on this for a long time. But we will not be worrying about all that as ours is a fairly light process. Okay. So now this is what I wanted to talk to you about the Tesseract operations. There is another thing that I also want to talk to you about is the availability of Gemini GPT. As we all know, Google and Gemini, they are heavily hand in hand, obviously from the same parent company. We will need Gemini to help us when we run into trouble when we are executing the code. I will demonstrate that to you when the time comes. But for the time being, you just need to know that there is uh, availability of Gemini to help you out in case of any bugs or errors that we will encounter when running the code. Again, you don't need to be aware of what the code is or the syntax. You just need to make sure you read through what is coming and understand the implications. That's pretty much it. Right? So now we will move over to ChatGPT. This is something that I will show from my screen. This is how I went about building this text reading OCR capable AI algorithm. And I'm going to walk you through step by step along with all the codes and everything so that you can use the same methodology to build it for your corresponding application or use case, right? So we will get started unless anybody has any doubts or clarification before we dive in.
Can you please paste the prompt on chat?
Yeah, I can. The reason I'm not doing that is it will take a lot of time for you to get that and do it, and it's not really needed. Right?
Okay.
I can paste it if you want, but this is not just one. There are multiple chat prompts, and it wouldn't be feasible right now to help rather share this. I initially was thinking of sharing the prompt entire chat, but it is not available because I stupidly uploaded a photograph. And if I say share now, I get a
Okay.
message sharing cannot be done with chats that have images uploaded in. And I did not know about it. So I uploaded an image and I lost the capability to share this. But not to worry. I mean, you can build it in the same format. You don't really need to have the prompts handy, right? So I started by first telling it what I wanted. And by the way, I am using ChatGPT because it is good for learners because it gives it broken down into segments like these individual code snippets to help us understand the context or the relevance of each particular code snippet. But ChatGPT in itself is not really preferred by a lot of coders because it is not, it is more of a general purpose one. There are more code specific, more coding expert languages, LLMs like say um, V0 is something that I really liked. Yeah, Naveen. Sorry, I
Yes.
saw you.
No worries. I mean, just a basic question. See, now so far we have gone through Google Colab that you talked about and testing whatever you have showcased in terms of this. So just to correlate, what we are trying to do is this using the Google Colab and the basis the ChatGPT algorithm that you have brought in. So we'll use this here in Google Colab to build this Python.
Yes,
Using this, we will build this. This is what we are
yes,
trying to do.
yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
sorry,
want
I
to
didn't
correlate.
mention that. Probably I should have done that. But yes, that's exactly what we will do. We will give a code in ChatGPT, prompt in ChatGPT. In this case, I'll say, this is a very starting prompt. This is the beginning of my conversation. And here I'm telling it, hey, look, I want to build a simple OCR algorithm that can recognize printed text on products. How to go ahead and build it. That's all I have asked. So then what it said, it says set up environment, install, configure Tesseract OCR, prepare your data, apply OCR, and it gave me a couple of lines of code. But what it's understood right now is it knows that I am planning on building an OCR algorithm that can read text from product packaging. Now, what is it telling me? Set up the environment. So it said use Python. Yes, we are using Python. And a tool like Google Colab. Yes, we have just logged into Google Colab and work on a cloud environment. Exactly. Install libraries such as Tesseract OCR, which is a powerful, easy to use OCR engine. Now, this is a powerful, this is our first clue. Okay, now till now, I did not know anything about OCRs. Now, the minute I told I need to build it, it is giving me a name. The first name that it has told me is a Tesseract OCR. Okay, so that should help me up my curiosity onto understanding what a Tesseract OCR is. Now, it has also told me what a Tesseract OCR is and how to install and configure it. Install Tesseract by running blah, 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 install whatever. It's given me all the code. And then it says, okay, so now I'm okay, fair enough. I know there is Tesseract and it can help me in installing and building. Right now, do not worry about all the codes yet. Don't worry about it. Just understand what needs to be done. So I set up the environment that I have done. Then I need to install and configure Tesseract. Then I need to prepare my image data. So I need to give it some sample images to help it learn identifying text from my images. So that is what your image is. So it says start by clean with clean high quality images of the product text, good sharpness, light, whatever, and process those images, whatever, noise reduction. Okay, fair enough. And then applying OCR to the image. Once I have uploaded my images, I need to then apply the OCR, which is optical character image recognition to the image. Yes, exactly. That's what I want to do. So it's told me do it some way. Okay, fair enough. And then post process, which is post process and refine, which is after I do the character recognition, it needs to tell me what that character is. Now it is read it. Now it needs to tell me what it has read. So that is what process and refine is. And finally, you test for the accuracy and validation and iterate. If there are errors, you fix that and you reiterate. We will be doing that a lot today. So that is what the first prompt was, where I set my base right. By the way, this kind of a prompting is called progressive prompting, where we go from very simple to more complex and more deeper prompting by building the AI's understanding in a sequential manner. I'm not starting the conversation by telling, hey, you know what, give me a code for Tesseract OCR to build this on Python. I did not tell any of that. Even if I know it, I should not tell it because it has its own way of working, and it is often best to let it direct us and die in the direction, and we mold the flow, right? So that is the way we do it. So in testing and iteration, there was another key point that I noticed. Here, if it says, if there are frequent OCR inaccuracies, consider training your OCR model using alternative tools like Easy OCR and Keras OCR. Now, again, these are OCR models. So you need to pick these up as well. So I picked them up and I said, okay, I know Tesseract OCR because you told me about Tesseract OCR on the top here. Now I also have Easy OCR and Keras OCR. So I asked, what is Easy OCR and what is Keras OCR? So I will not need to read through the entire one, but I'll just tell you on the top. Easy OCR, Keras OCR, and Tesseract OCR are all different types of OCR libraries that can be used to train your OCR model. So now I know that if my Tesseract is not performing right, or if I need to have options apart from my Tesseract OCR, I also have Easy OCR and Keras OCR as well, where I can train. Obviously, we are in the building side, right? So we want to iterate and experiment with different libraries to see which one gives us the best accuracy and best answer. So it also explains what Easy OCR is, what are its features. Similarly for Keras OCR, it gives all these, and it gives me, again, till now, I'm not even looking at the code. Code is not important for me up till now, because all I'm trying to do is understand, right? Both Easy and Keras are good options if you find Tesseract's approach insufficient. Okay, good. Now I know I have 3 candidates. Okay, so I also just wanted to do a little bit more digging to understand better. Can I club Tesseract, or do I need to be, used individually? I was just asking, prodding it with different questions so that I get a better sense of accuracy. I had initially asked if I can club Tesseract OCR with Easy OCR or Keras OCR so that it gets more powerful. But it said you can club it if you want, but it is not recommended because it will get too complicated and it's not needed. So, okay, I said, okay, fair enough. If that's the case, then build me a code using Tesseract. I'm telling I want it to be built using the Tesseract library. I want to build this on Colab and connect it with my Google Drive. Google Drive, why? Because I will be uploading my test images, the images that I will be putting up for test on Google Drive, and it will pull those images from my Google Drive, right? So I need to know that. And I'm telling that, build me a Tesseract model using the images that I upload on my drive on the Colab model. So now it's giving me a model for the complete Tesseract model. So what I did is it gave me all these. So I just do copy code. This is the code from where we execute onto our Colab. So if you see the first going to the Colab, you will see that the first section is all about testing Tesseract, right? So this is where I was testing the Tesseract out to see if it works. So what I do is I also want you to do in the background before we get started, please download the images from my Google Drive. I should have probably told you this before. I hope you have downloaded the input 1 and input 2 folders onto your computers. And when you download them, go to your Google Drive, create a folder called OCR or optical character recognition. It doesn't matter what you name it. And inside that folder, you can paste these 2 folders. Let me know when you have done this. These are pretty light folders, so it shouldn't take too long. These are very low resolution images. Just a second. I'm getting a call.
Sorry, we need to download and then
upload
to our
the
drive.
images onto your drive. Create a
Upload
specific
same directories.
retain those directories. Just create a new directory in your Google Drive, which OCR, and inside that OCR you can place these two folders, or you can how you want to name them. It's up to you. All good?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. How about others?
Done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I
Done.
good to go, everyone?
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So now let's duplicate. Now this code that I have shared with you is a view only code. So you need to duplicate this into your own account. So for that, click on File and save a copy in Drive. Now what this will do is it will create this simple OCR code as your code in your Drive. Otherwise, you will not be in a position to edit the code because this is a view only code. So do that. It should immediately open in new tab. You should see an option that says open in new tab. Now I will open it in another tab, and this is a copy of your code that you can edit, right? Once you have opened that, you can close the notebook that I shared with you. You can close that because otherwise it will be too confusing and you may probably get lost in the screens. So better to eliminate that altogether. So you can just quickly close that off. And we will work on this one. And because we opened a new file or rather new code file, you would notice that your CPU hardware has been disconnected. So you just hit on connect. Okay, if you get manage sessions, just click on manage session and close the simple OCR this thing, or you can just say hit terminate other sessions at the bottom. Terminate other sessions. And now I can connect it again.
So this is already connected when
It's connected? Okay, fair enough. Is everybody connected?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still connecting. I'm connected too. Okay, I'm hoping everyone's connected now. So what we do now is we will be building a Tesseract model, as I just said. And here it starts by copying this code and pasting it here. That is exactly what I have done. So if you see install Tesseract OCR and install PyTesseract, whatever, it's the same code. So it's the same code that we have. And once we paste each cell in, you can start executing it. And the reason why the code is split in these different segments is each one is a specific aspect of the program that will help me track in case the program has a bug or in case it fails. It will help me zero in the error. That's a good practice to basically break the code up into multiple smaller chunks for better control over the overall processing. So when we have copy pasted it, I just run the line of code by hitting on the play button, or you can even hit a shift enter. Shift enter also runs. So let me do that. I will run the first cell and see what happens. Now what it's doing is it's installing Tesseract OCR. Any text in the green line is a comment. And the white text is the actual code that is run. When a code is finished running, you will see a small green tick next to it. That means that the code has finished running. So what I did now is I installed Tesseract OCR library. And after I install the Tesseract OCR library, I also need to install a Python handshake or a wrapper for it to interact with Tesseract using the Python language. Again, you don't need to know about all this. You just copied it from the ChatGPT and you placed it onto this and you ran it and it gave you a green tick for everyone. I'm hoping everybody saw that. Everybody's run it and everybody sees that green tick.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations. You all ran your first code in building an AI code using GenAI. So that's how simple it is. Next one is what needs to be a installation of a Google Drive. So if you see from the one good thing about Python is most of the code is read friendly. In the sense, if I just read this, I can know what it is doing. From Google Colab, import drive, which is Google Drive, and drive.mount. It's telling me that when I run this code, I will install Google Drive onto the, hold on, I'm just hitting no thanks for a second. I'll tell you why. Before you run that, you see this folder icon next to the on the task pane. If you hit on it, you hit on that, you will see a folder with just a sample data folder, right? Now what I want is for us to install drive so that under this drive, we also have our folders from our Google Drive. That's what it is doing. Okay. So now see what happens if you're on your Collabs. You can just look at the screen. Now I just have sample data folder. And what I will do now is I will run Google Drive, this code once again. And I will say connect to Google Drive. And it will tell me which account you want to connect using. So use the Google Gmail that you are using for Google Drive at the moment. If you use another Gmail, which is not connected to your Google Drive, it will not work. So you need to choose that. In this case, I just have the Learning Twice Gmail. So I'll just choose Learning Twice, continue, select all. Don't worry about it. You can just say trust Google Drive and then just say continue. Yeah. And it says at the bottom, mounted content drive. And you see on the top, you got a new folder that's called drive. Do we all see it now? If you run it, please run that and you will see your own drive appear on top. Do we have that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now your Google Drive is connected to Colab, meaning you can use your images that you uploaded onto your drive for running this algorithm. And if you expand into my drive, you should see the folder that you have created along with the two input folders that we have created inside that. Do we see this? If you don't, hit the refresh button on top. So that will refresh the view. You should see your two input folders.
So can you just repeat this drive selection, if you don't mind?
In the sense, what do you want me to do, Naveen?
This file, I mean, I've been able to connect to the.
You are not able to find your folder, Naveen?
Naveen, you went back on mute.
My pet is shouting, so I just okay. See, I mounted this drive, right? After that, I wanted to select these folders that you mentioned. I'm just trying to locate how do I select this folders.
So expand the drive. You will see drive on the top. You should see a drive on the top. You see that?
That's the third icon, Naveen. Like there's a mount drive. You see under files, there are icons, right?
Got it. Yeah,
okay.
I got it. Thank you. Thanks. Got it.
This one, yeah. Mount drive. You got it?
Yes, sir. I did.
Okay, super. So now you can expand. Yeah, open into the folders now. And you will see OCR. Under OCR, you should have these two folders in. Right? Are we all on this?
Yes.
Okay, super. Now the hard part is done. Now it's all executing the code. So what I do next is I copy each bit of, now we mounted the Google Drive. That's what we did, copy pasted it. Next one is setting up Tesseract path and defining OCR function. You can read all these in your own implementation of the codes. And basically it tells you what it is doing. If not, even the comments here in the green text tell what this particular part is doing. So I run this bit of the code, which is the third bit. Now what it is doing is it is just implemented or imported the Tesseract. We installed the Tesseract. Now we have downloaded Tesseract from the data. This doesn't have any outputs, but it did give me a green tick. So that means that the code has run without any errors. So I don't need to worry about it. Once I do that, now comes the next part. In this path, you see the green text that says, set the path to your folder in Google Drive containing the images, right? And here in the folder path, you also have a green comment. It says replace with your actual folder path. And that is the folder that we have created for the test images. That should be input 1, right? So for that, I click on, you see the 3 dots next to the folder. When I hover on top of it, I click on that and I say copy path. Yeah, if I copy that path, I paste that inside on the this red path. The quotes need to be there. You should not remove the quotes, but place it inside the quote with your folder path. That is how it works, right? In case if you do a mistake, say for example, I deleted that code, the color changed. Yeah, it became white from yellow. That is a clear indication that something's wrong. Or I can even run it and see what it throws up. It will give me an error message at the bottom. Folder path. Replace your actual folder path with this. And it said, you can just basically read the error log. And if you are still not confident on what needs to be done, you can also hit the fix error button at the bottom. This is where I said Gemini will come in handy. Undo that. Okay. So now what we did is we ran a model that was built with Tesseract and we got an OCR output. Now this is the ultimate delivery point for the Tesseract model. And you see processed image IMG 3457 extracted text. What is there? Nothing. Processed image 3454 extracted text. It gave me some random text. In case you want to see what these images are, I would just recommend you go over to the image that we handled. So if we say 3457, this is the image that we just saw. 3457 is 3457. It's brew coffee. It did not read anything. It just gave me a blank. And 3454. What is 3454? 3454 is Mari Light. It gave me some random gibberish. Similarly, 3453 was blank. 3455, everything is blank. So as you can see, Tesseract is not doing a great job. It is not helping me in read it. So luckily, I also have other alternatives that I can try out, which is Easy OCR and Keras. So what I do is I'm done with testing Tesseract, which I know it didn't help me out. So I'm just closing that. And I go back to my ChatGPT and I said, build me now another model with Easy OCR with the same setup using Google Drive and Colab. So now it gave me the code for Easy OCR. All I do is copy code, copy code, copy code. I copy this entire code and I paste it with the Easy OCR site, right? And now I just run this to see if the Easy OCR at least will do the job. And it's the same exercise again. I install Easy OCR because that was Tesseract. It was a different library. Now I'm installing Easy OCR. So this is different. So I ran the code. It gave me a green tick. It's good. Now I have already mounted the drive. So this is an optional code that you need not run. It will work even if I don't run it. In interest of time, I will skip running because I already have my Google Drive mounted, and it will say import. Now I have installed it. Now I import Easy OCR. So I hit the play and it runs and it imports. This will just give a couple of warnings, nothing to worry about it. It is progressing. It is installing with its status bar. That's it, done. Now, again, here I need to copy paste the folder of my image in the folder path. This is something that I need to do. Here, if you look at it, the ChatGPT has also given me the same thing because it doesn't know your folder location. If you want, you can include that instruction in the prompt itself by saying, okay, build me an easy OCR for the same Google Drive Colab setup where my images are stored in this particular location. Then you wouldn't really need to do this again and again, but I did not do that. But what I will do now, anyway, once I have changed it, I will run the code. Now, if you see, it is telling me that 3457, if you remember, was brew coffee, right? So it identified brew instant. And the 3454 was Mari light. So it's called Mari. It's given a couple of gibberish and it said Mori light. And it's given a couple of whatever it could read, it is suggesting. Similarly, it is the next one was noodles. So it was a yippee noodle and it's called Expeer noodles. And it's basically trying to give whatever text it thinks it is, and it's giving the output out. Clearly, Easy OCR is better performing than the Tesseract OCR in our specific use case here. So I can go ahead and I can further fine tune my Easy OCR. Going forward, I also tested the Keras output as well, because if you remember, it had told me Keras as well. So I followed that up by saying, build me a model with Keras OCR for the same setup. And it gave me the code for Keras. And I pasted that and I ran the code. But Keras again was a little underperforming compared to Easy OCR. So I decided I will pursue with the Easy OCR model, because Easy OCR seems to be, obviously, as the name states it, it's easy and it is giving me better results. It gave me better results. So I thought I will continue with Easy OCR by fine tuning the Easy OCR. Right? Everybody with me until now? Please tell me if I'm going a little fast or if it is getting too overwhelming.
No, in line with you. Sure.
It's good? Okay, fine.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice to hear that. Revati, any updates from you? Are you able to follow?
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah. So here I said Keras was also not performing that great. So as I said, let's refine the Easy OCR. What I want to refine in that is, obviously I want to, as I said, this is progressive prompting where we increase the complexity of the prompts gradually. Now we know Easy OCR works fine. So then I said, let's refine the Easy OCR. I want to control the accuracy of the model by introducing relevant hyperparameters. Hyperparameters are levers in your model that you can pull to control the overall accuracy of the model output. So Easy OCR is good. I want to control it and make it more accurate. That was my intention. So I said, let's build a better working Easy OCR. So Easy OCR, unfortunately, doesn't have a lot of hyperparameters levers that you can pull, but it does give you some, and it gave me this new updated code. Okay, you said, okay, you want to refine the Easy OCR. Let's make it refined, and I'll give you this Easy OCR. So what did it do in this refinement? It gave me, you see all these green text. I will move back to Colab. It's all this green text here is these orange text here. It said it is now giving me levers to adjust the image path, the contrast, the contrasting text threshold, low text. These are all different parameters that you can change to alter the accuracy of your model. The text threshold 0.7 is the confidence level for the model to take a specific text. Say, for example, it is reading a text, it is reading a character A. There could be chances that that character may look like O, in which case its probability of it being A is not 100%. It's saying it could be A or it could be O, but the probability of A is probably 0.75, in which case it would pass and it would be displayed as an A. On the other hand, if it said its probability is 0.4 of being an A, it will not show up as an A. It will show up as a O. That's how you want to read the threshold parameter. And here adjusting the contrast would be basically increasing. When you process this image, it adjusts the contrast and brightness and all these things for the images that we put up. And it gives you a better performing model. So that's what it is doing. These are some hyperparameters. So now I have anyway installed Easy OCR and Google Mount, so I won't really run this code. Even you don't need to run it now. But tomorrow when you disconnect it and you want to rerun this model, then you will need to run these codes, right? Because of the memory being forgotten. So now I will just run this with the adjusted better of Easy OCR. Now let's see what will happen. Okay, now it's run the model. Now I need to display. Yeah, I got the green check. Now I need to again paste the image direct location. I pasted it. And now I will see again, it's the same thing. Contrast, text threshold is 0.8. Now here, if you look back, and just a quick disclaimer, text threshold is 0.7 here. And here it's the same parameter again. Text threshold is 0.8. It doesn't really matter despite the difference in numbers. Here, this was trained at a 0.7. You are executing here at a 0.8. That's the only difference. But what matters is this particular code. If I change the code here, it will, or rather the hyperparameter here, it may not really do much on the output. This is the output code, and here it matters if you change based on what it does. I will demonstrate what that means. So if I just run it here, yeah, so it's saying, let's say, see the 3454, 4 start a family pack. It's gibberish. Sunfeast, taste Mari light. Here the text has come out. At least Sunfeast, taste Mari light has come out right. But now let me say I want to change the text threshold. I will make it I'll make it really low, 0.3. Now let's see what happens. Okay, they were all, okay, I'll make it, sorry, I'll make it very high, 0.99. Now let's see what happens. See, nothing came out. These are only texts here which are 100% sure. The other text was somewhere in between below 99%, so they did not come out. Are you getting that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you see how it changes when you change the text threshold. If I really lower the threshold, everything it thinks, even if it's the lowest probability, it will come out. On the other hand, if I keep it at 0.99 or 1, only the 100% text, which is really pakka and clear, will come out. So that's how you can play with it. But it's still not completely accurate for me. For my use case, it is still not good. So what do I need to do is, one, obviously it is just giving me random text, or rather the image name of the file along with the text. It's not helping me visualize. You might have noticed it would be so much better if the image itself is displayed along with the text. So that's what I wanted to do next. So I said, let me just scroll down. How do I control the output text? I want, I want the algorithm to read only the big text indicating the product name and nothing else. So it is reading, if you see, if I make it 0.7 again, and let's say rerun it, It is giving me all random characters as well. See, 4 star underscore star A. I don't want all that. I just want the product name. I just want it as Sunfeast Taste Mari Light, for example, let's say. Right? It's not helping me if I have all these random gibberish printed. That's because the product packaging itself, if you look back at the image, it has a lot of text on this. Sunfeast is there, Mari Light is there, active, iron 6 vitamins, serving suggestion, whatever. So there are a lot of text, and I don't want all of that to be read by the algorithm. I just want it to read only the Mari Light. How can I ensure that? I can ensure that by saying, I want text that is the biggest. If it is small, ignore the text. All these small ones I ignore. Usually a product's name and its brand is printed the biggest, right? That's common sense for us. So I'm telling, look at the image and copy only the big text from the image. So that's what I said with this particular prompt. I said, I want the output text only to read the big text indicating the product name and nothing else. So then it did, okay, you want it based on the text size. Fine, I'll give you this code for text size. So I copied all that and I ran this code here. Now what I do is again, it gave me a new code. Now this is updated with the text code as well. Now where is that text code specified? If you are looking into my screen, you can see that minimum text height of 50 pixels and minimum text width of 100 pixels. So this is this area where I control the size of my text. How you know 50 and 100? You don't really know. You can just play around by giving different values and see what comes up. And finally gravitating towards a value that does the job right for you. So let us run this. Here I'm running the model with a minimum text height of 50 pixels and text width of 100 pixels to train, to first execute the model. And then I will run this model with that particular, the model has learned to now identify text at that height. And now I run that here. Let's see what comes up. It gave me nothing, right? And I also actually forgot to mention is I am also visualizing the image now. Now you see the next part of this code. It did not, it did give. For Mari Light, if you see, it is saying Mari Light. Brew is completely ignored. And Yippee has become Expeer. And there is another image, Extra Dawat, that is this one. This one. It has shown Extra and Dawat because both are big. I don't want Extra. I just want Dawat. But we will fix that later. Okay. Brew has completely gone because the product itself was smaller and the text size is also smaller. So I need to control the size parameter I indicated before. So we will fix that. So, and I also wanted to test how it will look on the product. Now, let me just copy, say, which is this Mari Light 3454, right? So I go to 3454, which is the Mari Light image. So what I do is I come here in input 1, I expand input 1. It's okay if you don't follow, I mean, you don't need to hands-on all these parts. You can just look at the screen at this moment because there will be a lot of back and forth. So I'm taking one image. This is 3454, which is the Mari Light. So I'm just copying the path and I'm pasting it here. Now let's see what happens. Pasting it here. And now if I run this, I get a message. Now this is our first error message that we got. But do not be scared. I hope the fix error comes now. So it's actually telling you where the problem is by showing this red wavy line. And it is telling you what has gone wrong. But you don't need to really worry about it. Just hit explain error. Continue. Now, what it does is it reads your code and it tells you what needs to be changed. It's telling me what it's gone, where it's gone wrong, and where it needs to change. Now, this is a common scenario when you are running code from GenAI tools like ChatGPT or Claude or anything. Sometimes there will be errors that you can fix in context of the overall program by hitting the explain error. So what it did is it said suggested changes. Now it's giving me the changed code. So all I need to do is find that code here. So it's saying import matplotlib as plot, import cv2, def vvbb box. See, all this is there. So I need to just blindly, I can, if I'm just doing this, I would just delete that and copy this. Copy and paste it here. And now let's see what happens. Now it's giving me the correct code. Now I run it once again. There we go. We fixed our first error as well. And you can now close it off. That's how powerful now GenAI is in helping you generate code and also debug code. Okay. So with that said, now I want to take a moment at examining the output. What it has done now is it has indicated a photo of the product with bounding boxes and the text it's read through. So if you see it here, you can see, I'm just zooming in. You see, it is called Mari as Mori and light as light. And it's picked up all these text. If I want to alter the size of the text, we all know how to do it. Say, for example, I don't want this family pack. I don't want improved taste. I can obviously eliminate that by adjusting so that's how we can edit it. But now I am one step more closer to getting what I want. Okay. Now I don't want to keep uploading all my individual images as URLs here. So I said to ChatGPT, can you update this previous code which outputs and visualizes all the images with bounding box and text, not on an individual image. This was just one individual image because I pasted this individual images URL. I don't want to do that. I want it for all the images. So it gave me this code for all the images. So I copy pasted that code and now I'm running this visualization code. What it happens is it's run that and now I'll visualize. I need to unfortunately copy this folder again. This is the folder input one folder. I'm not giving individual images location. I'm just giving the folder of all the images like we did previously. And now let's see what happens. So it's giving me all the images. For brew, it did not detect anything, which we knew. And it is still generating. It's still running. You can see that. Am I making sense until now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So as we saw, brew was not flagged out. Mari light is Mori light, but it is eliminated all the small text. How did the text get eliminated? Is because I changed the size of the bounding box here. I changed that in the top when I told you that. Where was that? Here. I changed it to 50 and 150, and that will control the size of the image. Okay, the bounding box. So now let us say I want to have brew included. Now we see here, brew is not included, right? Now let me see if I can change this value, let's say to 30 and this one to say 100 and see if now we will have brew included. See, there you go. Brew came through. You see that? Now that's how you change. You basically play around with the value that gives you the most important or rather the important characteristics and eliminate the others. Now, if I go back to this Dawat, I still see extra 20% Dawat Super, obviously, put in along with typos as well. So relish has been classified as rel fishy, right? This is again not helping me. Now, my next part of the code is to fix these. I don't want unwanted text and I don't want errors in my text. I wanted to call out relish and I wanted to exclude 20% extra. Now that is what I need to do. Okay. So what I do next is a concept called white filtering. Now this is a concept where we tell OCRs, I'll just move out to the relevant part. This is the prompt I gave. Some text in the images are being read incorrectly. How can I make sure it is corrected? I asked it. See, this is the problem. And what it told me is you can do all these texts, things, which is image processing is one aspect. Adjusting image parameters in OCR, that's another aspect. Dictionary or whitelist filtering, that's another aspect. Post processing and spell check with fuzzy matching, that's another aspect. So it gave me a bunch of alternatives. So now I said, okay, these are some of the techniques. I've already done 1 and 2, which is image processing is done and OCR is done. Adjusting the recognition parameters in OCR is done. What I need to do probably is a whitelist filtering. So what is a whitelist filtering? That was my next question. So I went back after all this code. I didn't use this code. So I just went back and I said, can you give me, oh, sorry, it's here. Help me integrate whitelist filtering with an explanation of what whitelist filtering is. I did not know what an whitelist filtering is. I just heard it now. So I was like, okay, if I want to correct those mistakes, apparently I need to do a whitelist filter. So what is a whitelist filter? So whitelist filter is a list of, if you look into the code here, it's a list of the relevant codes, product A, product B, product C, and so on. So what I need to do is, if say, for example, relish is being read incorrectly, relifish. So I need to say, if there is any word that has similarity to relish, disregard that spelling and make it relish. And I give it that spelling. So that is what whitelist filtering is. So I'll just read out what a whitelist is. This list should contain only the words or phrases you want the OCR to recognize. For example, if you are interested only in product names, include them here in the code. So this will include the name of the product names. Okay, so that is what I did. So now this is whitelist filtering and I copy pasted that code and I'll just zoom out. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I copied that code and now you see this product A, product B, and so on. I need to update that. So first, let me say relish. First product was relish. So I'll just update this to relish. RELISH. That's it. Product B was Dawat Super Basmati rice. So I'll just call it Dawat Super. And by the way, this is case sensitive. So you need to ensure it is in the same case. If you don't, it will not work. So SUPER, Dawat Super. And the next one is Yippee. This has got a bunch of cases. Y, small I, capital P, double E small with an exclamation. Yippee. And Mari light, all in small. MARIE light. Light. And next one is brew. Brew anyway is coming correct, but I'll still give it nonetheless. Brew. Yeah. So that is my 5 products and 5 whitelist. If you have a longer product list, then you need to upload it as a file and do that in a separate thing, which we didn't really bother to do, but that is also possible. If you have a product list of say 200 products or 300 products, you can upload it into an Excel and have this code pick it up from the Excel and do it. But we are not doing that right now. Okay, and now I'll just hit run. And now let's see what happens. Oh, sorry. I need to give the folder location here. I hope it's all making sense. Okay, now let's see what happens.
Mine is started using CPU.
Oh, you got the message?
Maybe, yeah. It's slower. It's going slower and slower.
Because we included more code in, right? So it is taking and it is matching it up with the whitelist as well. So it is bound to be a little more. If you want, you can move over to the other run type, but do not change it now, please, Suraj, because if you change it, it will forget everything. And you need to run the code right from the beginning again. So
sure.
It's not recognizing any text because it is still at a text size needs to be adjusted. So we'll go back and we'll edit that. Okay. So nothing got recognized, but that's okay. That's only because the text size needs to be changed. So I can go back on to the top. Where is that? Just here. I'll say probably put it at 30 on the height and width as say 90. Just making it really small. It's taking time. Yeah, I think it's no, it's not picking it up. It's okay. We have this is just an intermediary code. So we still haven't finalized it yet. So I realized it is not giving me the text for any of this was also because of the size of the code and also because it is reading the characters incorrectly. So if it is not matching, so here in which case, say for example, Mari light, we saw it had called it out as MORIE light. So it is not able to say Mori light is Mary light. So I asked that. So what will be displayed if the OCR reads text incorrectly? Will it match the nearest text or will it ignore it? It said it will ignore it because you need to apply another thing called a fuzzy matching technique. That is what it said. So what it means in a fuzzy matching text is MORI is more or less equal to MARI. So if it is reading it as MORIE, make that as MARIE. So we are saying approximating. That is what the fuzzy matching is all about. So here we did not get any output because the text was not linking up. It is looking for MARIE in MARIE. It is not there. It is having MORIE. And we need to make MORIE equal to MARIE using another technique called a fuzzy matching technique. So I said, okay, if I need to install a fuzzy matching technique, so then give me the code with a fuzzy matching technique. So it gave me this code with a fuzzy matching included. Now this is the fuzzy matching explanation. This function makes use of the fuzzy matching to find the most similar word in the whitelist detected. As I said before, it was looking at MARIE, and because the detected text was MORIE, it was not calling it out. So now I have whitelisted and fuzzy matching both incorporated. So now let's see what will happen. So here I need to run all these. Now here, this is a new install, which includes fuzzy matching. So I need to run the code once again, because it's a new parameter that is being installed. And I am doing that. Just run everything. These are all pretty. Oh, sorry. I need to update the code here. These are my products. I need to copy that and paste it into this bit here. Okay, now it is good. Okay, that was done. Now this is processing the image. Processing the image was done. Now it's doing the fuzzy matching. It's finding the closest match. Okay, and the threshold is 70. In the sense, it's giving a 70% accuracy. So anything which has accuracy above 70% should be considered in the fuzzy match. So that's also done. And now I will check it on my images. I will run the code and then I will paste it here, then hit run. Now let's see what happens. Here, by the way, I have given a height of 50 and 150. I can change that to smaller values in case the value text doesn't get detected properly. Now it is looking at brew image. 3457 is brew. Okay, I need to probably change the size of that for brew. Okay. Now it's saying Mari light. If you look at it, it is saying, it's not saying Mori light. It is saying Mari light, right? You see that MARIE light. So the fuzzy match has worked. But I also sensed a new mistake, which is the bounding box is not around the product name. It is got mismatched. So that was a mistake that I needed to fix. See again, Yippee is displayed correct, but again, the bounding box is somewhere else. I need it to be on top of the product. So I called that out to the model, to ChatGPT, and I said, the bounding boxes are not positioned on the identified text. Can you fix that, please? Can you correct the code and update? So it went through all that and it adjusted the bounding box error and say Dawat is also being recognized. And it is also another thing which I also called out is Dawat Super has been called out multiple times. So there could be problems when the product name is displayed big across the product package in multiple places. So in which case I told, I also don't want it to display the product name more than once. Okay, this is one. And another thing that was here. It's all there. These are all a couple of iterations which I used to fix the bounding box. And okay, it's somewhere I noticed, I told that remove the duplicates. I don't seem to find it. But anyway, once I got all the confidence that it is recognizing the product names properly, I finalized. Relish is not identified. That's because of the size. I got the final easy OCR model. And what I did now is I updated the code and then let's run this and see how it shows up for the final code. Just before I do that, I need to update the product names. Did the product names and the code. This is the product names. I update the product names here. And then I update the path to those here. And I also change. Now I noticed that the relish and brew is not coming, right? So let me just make this small so that this model gives us a good output, clean output. See, brew's connected. It came out fine, super. And the bounding box is also good. Mari light is also working fine. It's positioned right. Spelling is also correct. Yippee, I probably need to change the size more or make it even more smaller, but that's okay. We can adjust that. Dawat super, it's working fine. Relish is also working fine and it's spelled also right. So that finishes the code for fixing it. Obviously, I still have some scope for fine tuning in the size because Yippee has not been picked up, but I do have the model working fine with the bounding boxes and the text being read correctly. So if I want to check for other images to see how the image model performs, I can always copy the input to folder copy path and I can just change that to input to and run the code to see how it will work on new images, right? While that runs, in the interest of time, I will just move over to the presentation very quickly. By the time that runs, I will like to end this session by telling what all we learned. But before that, any questions? Anybody has any thoughts on this till now? Are we all
No,
there?
this is really good, Stefan. It's really insightful.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Who's this, Suraj?
No, Jacob, yeah.
Hi, Jacob. Yeah, thanks. Anybody else has any thoughts?
Yeah, Shreya
We'll
Shah.
have to practice a bit. It was for sure a great session. So thanks for this. I think this gives a lot of idea for us to practice more and more on this.
Sure. Yeah.
Great session, Shreya Shah. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Samir. That's what. So I have given the code. You will be able to run all the code by yourself. Just make sure you have the Google Drive links enabled, and you need to paste the Google Drive and the image and the product names accordingly to have the last few with the fuzzy match and whitelisting work. So you need to ensure that the code is working proper. You need to read the code properly and update the code wherever the variables call for it. So that I purposefully did not do that because that's the way in which you will also get to read the code to ensure it works right. That will also give you more familiarity in the code. And it will give you more confidence in executing more diverse codes as well. So again, as I said, this has been specifically used for retail and for OCR, but this doesn't really eliminate you from trying the same technique of prompt building on two different other use cases. So if, say, for example, I want to have an AI model to forecast, I don't know, the defects or identify the defect rates in an assembly line. I can start by saying I want to identify the defective products in an assembly line, and then use the output to see what models need to be there or how it needs to be there. In fact, I have done a bunch of models in the same format, and let me show you my Colab in another account. I have built Colab models on GANs, which actually builds images. It identifies faces based on images. Laptop detection was a training that I did last week using RoboFlow, but face detection project on blood glucose forecasting. Did a bunch. I have done quite a few. Basic CNN model that draws images and identifies the type of images. So you can do all these things all by just starting to break down a job into the different tasks. You think there is a specific application for AI, please go ahead and break it down to get down to the most basic granular level and break that down into tasks that can be accomplished by AI and identify the objectives, and you have those objectives guide you. So in my case, the objectives were to read the text correctly and use them to see if the products were placed right or if any particular product is getting out of stock. So using this, the text is being read correctly now. I can use that to input into another algorithm in the future, which counts the number of times a particular product is gone, has been sold, or where a particular product is placed in what part of the shelf. These all form a different, this forms an entity in a much bigger AI problem. In order to solve that, this is the first step that we have taken, right? So using the objectives and using them to guide you in building your AI is where differentiating the job and tasks come in handy. And when you do that, you obviously will also find out what are AI friendly and what are non-AI friendly tasks. And you have the AI friendly tasks and work on ChatGPT or Claude or V0 to build on your progressive code on a progressive complexity level. And obviously, you use Colab as the free tool, or if you think you can afford for a paid version, you can do that too to do a quick prototype. And in specific to OCR, we also saw how whitelisting helps and fuzzy matching works. In both in combination can help eliminate errors. You don't need to know anything about these things, as I said. I did not know anything about whitelisting, or I did not know anything about fuzzy matching until I actually got my feet wet in building the concept. So that's how you will also discover a lot of new things as you are building. Only thing that you need to start off with is having an idea on what needs to be done, right? So that's what it is all about. If you know what you want to build, it will work based on the guidance you get from these GenAI tools. So here I have run the folder too. If you're still on, there is still some misses that I need to fix by adjusting the size. So Mari Light vertically is not reading, so I need to probably work with the image dimensions here, make this smaller and even more crisper to take that size in. EP horizontal is working. Dawat half is not work recognized yet. Probably that needs further fine tuning. But all these things can be done. What I'm suggesting is you go through all these different scenarios in your model to identify where it's failing and fix those by using GenAI again.
Shreya, one question. Is this to be image fine tuning to be done for each and every image, or this is on an overall basis you're doing this fine tuning?
Overall basis. Overall basis.
There, like in a store, there may be thousands of items.
Right.
How do you fix that? Like there'll be too much of misfit actually.
Correct. So you need to have a spreadsheet where you input all those inventory items into a spreadsheet and upload that into this. That is a job for the person who has the job of managing the shelves, gets you need to do some bit of file management at the background. It'll be similar to the billing system, because when you scan a product to bill, that product is already entered in the system, right? So you can use that same infrastructure to upload the names of the products into the whitelist. That should help. And it can be connected to this through an API or an Excel file, however it works.
Yeah, understand. Now in real life, how this works basically. Now in this case, you have downloaded the image on your drive.
Right.
In real life, you have a store and you want to see how the things are, different goods are placed.
Right.
How that is done.
So in this case, you hook the camera, CCTV camera or whatever camera you have in the store to start dumping the images. This can also be done on videos too. So I just did images, but this entire code will work on images as well. Videos as well. So you can have that CCTV dump either JPEG images, maybe taken every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, based on your capacity and the store footfall.
So camera will basically take the images and download to a drive, and then from there this will be run.
Yes. And in case you have any stock product going out of stock or any errors, you can have that configured to send you a notification. All these things can be done, integrated. Again, obviously, these need to be built around this. This is the heart of the situation. This is the heart of the solution. Around this, again, you need to build more and more and more solutions that eventually brings you to a final usable use case. But this is a good first step to start off with.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And Shreyas, have you tried extracting multiple data elements from an image? Like, for example, if you have to take, say, 5 elements out of an invoice
That can also be done. Yes, you can do that.
with,
Again,
with the same.
it will be based on, if it is a standard invoice that always looks the same, then you can position it based on the location. Or if it has a standard number of characters, you can whitelist it. Or if it has contextual information that is the same, you can have there is another technique which reads into the content and interprets it and gives out the relevant information. So all these things can be incorporated.
Oh. And which one was the better one out of the three, OCR and this?
Easy OCR. It
Easy
is
OCR.
easy, as the name suggests, and also
Okay.
because it works relatively fast and easy without really having too much of a confusion in between.
Okay.
But you can very well experiment it with Tesseract or this one as well. What is that? Keras. You can try that as well. Tesseract in my trials didn't really give me the results I needed. Keras and Easy OCR were good. Keras has more controlling levers or hyperparameters, as I would call. So you can try with that. I did not run Keras here, but I have the code for Keras on top. If you look back, the code for Keras is there on the top. So you can run that. And you can further see this Keras OCR was where we have the Keras model. I just dove into the Easy OCR model.
Got it. Okay.
You can experiment, you can change this code because it's your notebook now. You can use ChatGPT on your own and you can build your own product text recognizing OCR and build it based on how you want to test it out. Or you can even train it on the code that we have on this particular page itself. Another cool thing that you can also do is probably say if you want to have I think Munesh was talking about trying with videos. Videos will take a little long time because obviously the file sizes will be big, but you can try it with videos as well, where you have a real live scenario where the video is continuously getting monitored and it gets updated. Just on that context, if I want to say incorporate videos, I can change this. If image name ends with .png, .jpg, or .jpg, these are the files that are recognized with right now. In case you want to change it to a movie, then you just say .mov, .mp4, and then have the model run. But it will take longer time, and it's based on your use case and specifications.
Another way of what we are seeing this was image matching, right? In our classes in AI, we see where you have, like, for example, you want to recognize the dogs, or like last time you did the laptops. You feed the images and then you compare. So similar to OCR is that we gave the image of all the products in different angles and then try to match.
You can do that. You can do that too. That's a solution. But what happens if the product packaging changes? You will be stuck. Right? That will be an outlier. Say, for example, today I'm having the box in blue color and I train it on visual intelligence using blue box, and tomorrow the product changes to a red box, and then the whole product becomes redundant. On the other hand, the product and brand name, more or less assuming stays constant, that case, the OCR can supersede this. Again, it is up to you to evaluate the risks and possible benefits of using one model against the other. And then you take a call based on what is the best scenario. And again, if you look at it, I did not tell in the first text I had with ChatGPT, I think I closed it. I did not tell I needed an OCR. I wanted to read is what I said. So it assumed OCR would be the best.
All right.
Okay. Anything else anybody has?
Great. It has been great learning actually today.
Super, super. Thank you so very much. I would like to close this by what's that? Survey.
Thanks for an excellent session, Shreya. I have a quick question.
Thank you,
Did you also look at
So basically, I was looking at a use case of extraction of text from lengthy documents, right? So would like when you initially started, did you already know which models to use, or ChatGPT just provided a couple of examples that these three exist, and then you built over it?
I knew they existed because
Okay.
just a sec. I knew they would be these three models because I had explored these from a different point in case. But if you are looking at, say, reading lengthy text, this is not probably the best data set. You have another data set that is called IAM.
Right.
IAM.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is for reading handwritten text. Again, IAM also is in the same domain, but OCR is specifically for printed text, optical character recognition. This easy OCR, Keras, and Tesseract are for printed texts. But if you want to
Sure.
do handwritten, then IAM is a good data set, but that is very, very heavy. I have built a model on IAM. I'm still building it. It needs a lot of training and practice because of the number of variations in the way we write. Building it on Colab can be pretty daunting. You need a proper, if you want to read it from comprehensively, then it will be very difficult. On Colab, you can just build it for one person's handwriting.
Okay. And also, you said you have many models on Collaborate. So the free version, how many models does it allow us to put up there?
Oh, unlimited. As long as you have
Unlimited?
space, you
Okay.
can.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
And it's all in terms of what you want to build and how you want to use the GPU. You can even pay for it. And if you pay for it, then obviously there will be very good support in terms of retaining the model's intelligence. Now, if I close this model, right, it will forget everything that I have taught up till now.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen, then you can pay for it, and then you have the thing also taken over.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to share the quick survey. Where did the survey go? Polls, yeah. Please do take a couple of minutes to respond back to this. And I will also ensure you get certificates for this, my own little branding, for ensuring you took your 2.5 hours time on a Saturday evening. So let me know in case you don't see the poll. All right. And before I close, I would also like to invite you all to please consider sharing your own specific AI learnings on this forum, because that's actually what I intended to start off and do in the beginning itself, where the more people we have attending and sharing each other's learning, the better our understanding about AI would be. And it'll also be a good boost for everyone in general. So please do think about it. And in case you said you would like to share, I will reach back to you. I see 2 people have said yes already, that they would like to share. I will reach back to you and we can take this discussion forward on what you can present in the upcoming future sessions. Anybody else has anything for me? If not, we can end the session.
Yes, it was a nice session. This was my first session with you.
Oh,
So I felt it was practical was good. So yeah, able to do something cool.
glad you liked it, Jyoti. I want to always aim for sessions which have a practical use case application so that it is not just theoretical. I was fearing that it was getting a little too daunting in the coding side because it's just code with little context of explanation. But if you read through the code and if you understand the comments in the green text, it will be even more revealing and insightful. So you can always do that. And also, of course, thanks, Dheeraj.
Thank you. Thanks once again for
Yeah,
the session.
bye. So if you want to do this, you please explore the possibilities of doing it on ChatGPT or V0 too. V0 is an excellent coding specific LLM that can give more powerful codes. I mean, ChatGPT is also good, but it's not its core strength. V0, on the other hand, can do a good job in that too. All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Shreya.
Thank you.
Shreya
Thank
sir.
you so very much for everyone. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.